Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy, Sports and Fitness Rants? I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, man. Got another great video for you guys today, as usual, man. We must continue to set the record straight, stop the lies, stop the narratives, stop them from rewriting history, guys. And in this video, we're going to do one more video on this fool Gilbert Arenas, this soft, sensitive, feminine clown, Gilbert Arenas, because I don't know if you guys noticed, he responded to my post that I posted, that poll, like, do you respect Gilbert Arenas as a grown man? And Gilbert Arenas responded on it with his facetious self, always a goofball, man. But it was something that he said to one of the people that responded that got me. Because once again, Gilbert Arenas talks about how he's an ex-player and we're fans, and that makes us biased. Oh, you guys are biased because you're a fan. I'm an ex-player. Dude, Gilbert Arenas still thinks that because he's an ex-basketball player, that gives him some kind of, like, he's better than us? Like, dude, you're not better than anybody. You're not smarter than anybody. You're an idiot. You're not being honest. That's all we want is for you to be honest, and you're not honest. You're flip-flopping all over the place. You contradict yourself left and right. And we're going to talk about in this video how this guy really thinks that he's better than us because he played in the league. And that has anything to do with the history of the NBA. That has nothing to do with the history of the league. You playing in the NBA has nothing to do with you lying and tearing down past errors with narratives. Once again, playing in the league does not mean that you know the history of the game. We're going to talk about this video, guys. And I want to thank you guys, everyone across the world. Everyone across the states has been supporting my channel. I am truly humble, guys, for all support, man. Thank you very much, guys. We must continue to stand up against this stuff, man, and not allow these fools to talk down on us because we didn't play in the NBA. We're just fans. It's a bunch of BS, man. I'm tired of this stuff. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So, yes, guys, like I said, I wanted to do a brief video on this guy, Gilbert Arenas, again, man. I have to continue to expose this clown, man, and set the record straight on this fool, man. Because I did that post yesterday about, do you respect Gilbert Arenas as a grown man? And most of you guys do not. I don't know how many people vote on it. Not a lot of people voted on it. Maybe 300 people voted on it. And most of you guys do not respect him as a grown man. And Gilbert Arenas, in fact, commented on that post, and he said, I'm voting hell no. Yeah, exactly, hell no. No one respects you. You don't even respect yourself, and we know he's being a goofball. But like I said, he responded to a comment that someone left. I don't know if it was a subscriber of my channel, but someone left a comment on this, and they talked about they don't respect Gilbert Arenas because he's always flip-flopping all over the place and blah, blah, blah. And Gilbert Arenas responded, and I didn't write it down, man. I took a screenshot of it. I should have wrote it down just so I could read what he said, but he essentially said, that's your bias showing because you're a fan, with an exclamation point. You're a fan, and I'm an ex-player. He loves to say he's an ex-player. He loves to say that. Gilbert Arenas is so infatuated with the fact that he's an ex-NBA player. It's actually hilarious because that's his claim to fame in life. His claim to fame in life is that he's an ex-NBA player. That's his claim. Not that he's a decent person, right? Or a great humanitarian. None of this stuff. He ain't a Hall of Famer, an NBA legend. None of this stuff. No one even remembers Gilbert Arenas for his playing time. What do you remember Gilbert Arenas for? Most people remember Gilbert Arenas for him keeping it real. And when keeping it real goes wrong, right? Him being suspended from the league, getting kicked out of the league. That's what most people remember him for. That's the legacy he left. This dude is not a grown man. No grown man gossips as much as he does. And when we're talking about gossiping and talking, these are not opinions. Some of these fools, yo, man, I respect Gilbert Arenas, man. It's his opinion. He can say that, blah, blah, blah. It ain't opinions when you're lying and you're flip-flopping all over the place. You cannot say on one hand that you have Michael Jordan as the greatest of all time, and then on the next hand say that his era was weak or he was the only great athlete of his era. It doesn't make any sense. You sound ridiculous. Oh, Michael Jordan's a Bugatti. Everyone else was a Honda Civic. But then you say he's the greatest of all time? How's that even add up? Michael Jordan played in an expansion era, he'll say. But you have him as the greatest of all time? How does that even add up? It doesn't add up. He'll talk about the fans and how we're biased. Now, listen, let's be clear here. Is there fan bias? Absolutely, there's fan bias. But once again, most people that I think are subscribed to my channel, and I can speak for myself, I know that, most people that are fans, we're not fans of only a particular player. We're fans of basketball, right? Basketball. No, maybe we didn't play in the NBA, but we played in the streets. Maybe we played for fun. Maybe we played in high school. Maybe we played in college. You don't know the deal with us, man. Once again, Gilbert Arenas knows nothing about my athletic background and the things that I did. I was a 3-sport athlete in high school. I was recruited to play Division I football. But I don't talk about these things because it's irrelevant. It doesn't matter. I know I'm an athlete. I know what I did in high school. I know the sports that I played. I know my skill level. No, I never played in the NBA. Never even close to being in an NBA. Never made an NFL or Major League Baseball. None of those kinds of things. But I played 3 sports on varsity in high school. Not many people do those kinds of things. I doubt Gilbert Arenas played football because he's a soft, sensitive clown. Did Gilbert Arenas play high school baseball? Did he play multiple sports? I've told you, a lot of these guys are great athletes, but they're in the NBA because of their height. That's why they're there. Now, Gilbert Arenas, I believe, 6'4" maybe he is? I'm not 6'4". I'm nowhere close to that. I'm 5'9". If I was 6'4", maybe I'm in the NBA. I was slam dunking a basketball at 5'8" when I was in high school. So if I was 6'4", that would allow me to do many other things. But Gilbert Arenas wants to talk down on us as fans because just because we didn't play in the NBA, that means that we're not athletes, that we didn't play sports, that we didn't watch the NBA, that we don't understand basketball, that we don't know the history of the game. Even if you never played a lick of basketball at any level, you can still study the history of the game and know the history of the game and the great players and what they did back in them days, how the game was played, all that stuff. You can research these things, find out the facts. But instead, Gilbert Arenas thinks because he played in the league and we didn't, he knows more than us. I told you, Gilbert Arenas might be able to tell us some stories from behind the scenes. But at the same time, he doesn't know the history of the league. He doesn't know. He refuses to know the history of the game. He's not an honest individual. He has zero integrity. So when I say he's not a grown man, this is what I'm alluding to. No grown man gossips this much, lies about other grown men this much for your own clicks and views. No grown man does that. No grown man has no integrity like this. No honor behind Gilbert Arenas. No class, a classless individual. This is not anything of a man or a man would carry himself that way. You're literally talking about Michael Jordan every other day when Michael Jordan never mentioned you once. Never mentioned you at all. But all you have to do, all you want to continue to do is talk about Michael Jordan and then say that Michael Jordan's only relevant because of LeBron James. Then why are you always talking about Michael Jordan? You're literally only relevant for tearing down Michael Jordan. You literally became a troll on YouTube through social media by tearing down Michael Jordan. You couldn't do it with anybody else. You could not do it with anybody else. Go ahead, start talking about someone else and tear them down. It won't work the same for Gilbert Arenas. He gets all the clicks and the views because he mentions Michael Jordan's name, but then turns around and say that Michael Jordan's only relevant because of LeBron James in the GOAT debate. LeBron James is only relevant because of Michael Jordan and them having to bring up Michael Jordan all the time and compare him to Michael Jordan. Don't no one care about LeBron James like that. He's not relevant like that. He's only kept relevant, and that's why he continues to play, because he knows if he retires or when he retires, he will fall into irrelevancy. No one will care about LeBron James anymore. It'll be back to who's the next Michael Jordan. Where's the next Michael Jordan? No one cares about the next LeBron James. No one ever says this stuff. I told you guys, Patrick Mahomes won the Super Bowl, and immediately, as soon as it went to zeros, Tony Romo says and calls him the Michael Jordan of. Not the LeBron James of, the Michael Jordan of. Gilbert Arenas, he don't want to live in that reality. Once again, Gilbert Arenas is only relevant today. People are only watching his stupid podcast because of all the stuff he says about Michael Jordan. It's so outlandish and so idiotic that people click on this stuff to listen to this fool, and then they make videos like I am about this clown. Now, I told you, my problem with someone like a Gilbert Arenas is not just all the things that we've talked about on this channel in the past, but also how he talks down to the fans. He makes it seem like he was never a fan. So Gilbert Arenas, you were never a fan of basketball? When you were young growing up, you weren't a fan of basketball. You just decided to play basketball because you weren't a fan of it. Oh, I hate basketball, but I'm going to play anyway. What? These guys really act as if they're not fans. You were a fan of basketball. Maybe you're not a fan anymore. We can tell you're not a fan of basketball because you continue to tear it down with lies and not being honest or doing real research. This is the same guy, Gilbert Arenas, that came to the live stream that day. You guys remember a couple months back. He came to that live stream, talked about all the research that he does. Oh, I do research and stuff, guys. I research and stuff. I'm a student of the game. And then turned around 5 minutes later and said that Magic Johnson was drafted to a championship team. You can't on one hand claim that you do all this research, you're a student of the game, and then 5 minutes later make one of the most idiotic statements about one of the greatest players in NBA's history that everyone knows. Magic Johnson wasn't drafted to a championship team. But Gilbert Arenas, that's what he said. Because once again, he was trying to take away from Magic Johnson's greatness by lying and creating a false narrative that Magic Johnson was drafted to a championship team. It's insane. But he's a student of the game. He studies the game, but then says that there were no other great athletes in the NBA in the 90s, only Michael Jordan. But you're a student of the game? But you can't name off any other great athletes, only Michael Jordan? This is the same Gilbert Arenas that on one hand will say Michael Jordan's the only player in NBA's history to build his career from trash to championships. He just said the other day, and Isaiah Thomas came at him about that. Isaiah Thomas, a little fool. He's got two fools arguing with each other, man. You know what I'm saying? Idiots and idiots. But this is what he just said. But then turn around and say that Michael Jordan didn't play against anybody? He was the only athlete out there on the court? It doesn't add up. This is what I'm talking about, the contradictions of Gilbert Arenas. The same guy that came to the live stream and started rambling on about how the guys in the 80s were all on cocaine. Everyone was on cocaine in the 80s. He didn't name one failed drug test for a player. He didn't name any players by name that failed the drug test in the 80s for cocaine. He wants you to hear him talk about, oh yeah, well, what's his name said this. He said he saw so-and-so do that. So that means that everyone in the 80s was doing cocaine because someone told you a story of someone doing cocaine? What? That would be like me saying everyone in the 80s in America was doing cocaine. That's idiotic. It's a statement. But this Gilbert Arenas, everyone, they were only playing 82 games because they were all on cocaine and steroids. Everyone's on cocaine and steroids, man. But he couldn't give you one failed test for any of these guys. But on the flip side, if you accuse LeBron James of doing something, or these guys today of cheating the game, doing drugs, which we know is prevalent now in society, how many people are dying from drugs in society now? From pills and powders and all kinds of weird stuff guys are doing. We got people eating Tide Pods now. This is what they do today. But Gilbert Arenas, he won't name anything. When you say about these guys, he'll say, they never failed a drug test. He never failed the test. He never got this. He never got caught for that. So name me the guys that were getting caught, that were failing drug tests in the 80s. I'm waiting for the steroid test to come out, Gilbert Arenas, but Gilbert Arenas will just say that out loud. He'll just say that blanket statement with no evidence, nothing to support this stuff. Gilbert Arenas is a conspiracy theorist, guys. That's all he studies is ifs, maybes. That's all he does is conspiracy theories. He came on the Sunday show and talked conspiracy theories for an hour, babbling on in circles, contradicting himself left and right. And he comes on there and talks about we're biased because we're fans. No, we're not biased. Most of us are fans of basketball. All we've been doing and all we've been talking about, especially on my channel, is setting the record straight here on you clowns. I've never torn down any other eras. I've talked about this era in relation to the 80s and the 90s, the past eras, and this era is soft. Those are the facts. That's not me hating or lying about this era. They are soft. The proof is there in the video footage. The proof is there in them not showing up to work. These guys faking injuries. Things that guys would battle through back in the day, these guys do not do it today. Even though they have more advancements in medicine and technology and all this stuff, these guys are out longer with the same injuries these guys were years ago. Once again, we're not being biased. We're fans of basketball, and we want these guys to be held to a standard. We want fools like you to be honest, to speak with integrity. Don't speak for money or views. Speak the reality, the facts. Opinions are opinions, but opinions have to be based off of the facts, off reality. When you say Michael Jordan's the only skilled player or the only athlete back in the day, that's not an opinion. That's you, once again, being disingenuous and lying, just flat out lying about an entire era of athletes. When they talk about an expansion era, that's not your opinion, and that's not the facts. That's a false narrative that they've created over the last several years now. In reality, oh, Michael Jordan didn't play against anybody in the 90s. What? These guys weren't skilled? These are not opinions, guys. That's not your opinion they weren't skilled. That's you lying, creating a false narrative. And that's why we're here. If I was a biased fan and I was here just for Michael Jordan, then I would just be talking about Michael Jordan. That's not the case on this channel. I've talked about many, many players from the 80s, from the 90s. I've done videos on George Mikan. I did videos on the players from the 50s. Jumpin' Joe Folks. I've done videos on guys like Muggsy Bogues. Does anybody talk about Muggsy Bogues on their channels? I did a fucking 20-minute video on Muggsy Bogues. I've done videos on Kevin Johnson, on Mark Jackson. Who has a video on their channel 20 minutes long on Mark Jackson? I have that. I have that because I'm standing up for the 80s and the 90s. All of the players of the era. Michael Jordan's contemporaries. Yes, Michael Jordan's my favorite player of all time. I believe he's the greatest of all time. I don't think it's a question. That's not me being biased. That's me looking at the facts, understanding the facts, and coming to a realization. An educated opinion here. Not biased. I don't lie for Michael Jordan or lie about Michael Jordan to make him appear greater. That would be being biased. That's not biased. These are the facts here. Gilbert Arenas don't want to deal with reality. He wants to make it seem as if you don't know what you're talking about. You didn't play in the NBA, so be quiet. What? Dude, you literally don't know what you're talking about. You literally don't know. The dude came on the thing and commented that George Mikan couldn't shoot layups. He literally said that George Mikan couldn't make layups, so they had to come up with the George Mikan drill. Once again, not understanding the history of the game and not knowing really why they came up with the George Mikan drill. And the fact that George Mikan wasn't doing that drill because he couldn't make layups is because of an injury that he suffered before he even came into the NBA. But Gilbert Arenas don't know that. He thinks he knows the history of the game, but he doesn't know, and he was educated by Rex. Right off the jump, Rex educated him and corrected him with that nonsensical statement, George Mikan couldn't make layups. Like, these are nonsensical things he says. George Mikan was like a 75% free throw shooter for his career. The free throw line never changed, guys. So Gilbert Arenas wants you to believe that George Mikan couldn't make free throws, couldn't make a layup to save his life, even though he was damn near 7 feet tall and one of the all-time great players. And the man was a 75% free throw shooter, I believe, as a center, as a big man, which is really good. George Mikan could shoot the ball. He could make layups. He's a legend. But Gilbert Arenas wants you to believe he couldn't make a layup. These are the kinds of statements that Gilbert Arenas makes. He's not educated. He's not being honest. All right? Gilbert Arenas is known as being a shot chucker on a team that never won anything. Gilbert Arenas was a guy putting up points on a bad team. What moment does Gilbert Arenas have in his career? Like, dude, I won just as many championships as Gilbert Arenas has. Dude, I don't get it. What's your claim to fame, dude? Once again, your claim is you're an ex-NBA player. That's your claim? Once again, you're living in the past, Gilbert Arenas, and you're not living in reality. You're not better than any one of us. Because once again, I'm a grown man. Before anything, before you're an ex-NBA player or any of this stuff, you're a grown man first. We're all grown men first. So I address you as a grown man, and you're not a grown man. You're not on my level as a grown man. You're not on my level. You don't stand on things like I stand on them. You don't carry yourself like I carry myself. You don't hold yourself accountable like I'm holding myself. Which is why you babble on nonsense and make it about a fan bias. Ain't no fan bias going on here. The fan biases of this era is people like you. You guys are the fan bias. Everyone is a fan of one player now. And if you say anything about that one player, then they come after you. They want to tear you down and say, you don't know basketball. You're a hater. It's the facts. Those are the facts. Remember, I'm not out here for the money of the fame, guys. I'm not out here for the clicks and the views. Gilbert Arenas is. And he's been exposed himself. Remember, there's the same guy that came out and said that the NBA gave LeBron James the championship in 2012. He said that the NBA gave him that championship. This is what Gilbert Arenas said. But then he wants you to believe that LeBron James is the second greatest player of all time, even though he said he was given a championship. And he put on all those super teams. He got LeBron James number 2, even though he was given a championship. Insane. This man is insane. Not living in reality. And once again, I challenged him to have me on his show, Gil's Arena, this goofball show he has, but no one wants to hold this guy to a standard or call him out for the nonsense he says. Have me on that show. Let's chop it up, Gilbert Arenas. He'll never have me come on that show. I don't need money. I don't want to get paid to come on there. Just have me come on so that we can go back and forth. Whoever wants some, I'll give it to any one of these guys. I got the facts on my side. I'm living in reality. Gilbert Arenas is not. And he's not a grown man. I don't want to hear about you're an ex-NBA player. Good for you, dude. You made the NBA. Whoop-de-doo. Once again, no one remembers you for that. You did nothing in the NBA. You had a couple of good seasons. And when we talk about good seasons, it was just you chucking up shots, scoring some points, making a couple of all-star teams, man. Because you're out there chucking up teams or shots on a team that did not win anything. They won nothing. What did the Washington Wizards ever do with Gilbert Arenas? They did nothing. He's not a winner. He's not a winner. He's a loser. This is why he talks about Michael Jordan all the time. He has to talk about real men, winners, and tear them down to make himself relevant. And this is why I'll never respect someone like that. Man to man, I will never respect him, man. Because he won't hold himself to any kind of standard, and he wants to talk down to the fans as if we don't know the game of basketball. Like, I don't know why these guys think that you have to play in the NBA to understand the game of basketball. And I don't understand what being in the NBA has anything to do with you knowing the history of the game. The history of the game. Gilbert Arenas brought guns into a locker room. Is Gilbert Arenas an expert on weapons? I was in the military. I was a gunner's mate in the U.S. Navy, guys, which is essentially a weapons expert. I had to take apart weapons and put them back together, right? 9mm Beretta, the M60, the 50 cal, right? Shotguns, Mark 79s, like whatever it was, we had to be able to take it apart, put it together. I had to be able to instruct people on the range and show them how to shoot these weapons. This is what my job was in the Navy. I'm not Rambo. I'm not some badass Navy SEAL or some crazy ass war hero. That's not what I am. But that's what I was trained to do in the military. I was trained with weapons, to handle them, to take them apart, to clean them, to show people how to shoot them. All of this stuff. Gilbert Arenas, were you trained that way? No, you weren't, but you decided to carry a gun anyway. Are you qualified to carry a gun when you've never been to war? You were never trained in handgun carrying or taking these things apart? You were never in a battle situation? You were never in the military? You're not a weapons expert? Are you going to train someone how to shoot these guns? No, you're probably not even going to hold the damn weapon. But you decided to carry a gun nonetheless. But we can't talk about basketball. But you can carry a gun around in public? You sound ridiculous, man. You sound like a complete fool like you always do. I think Gilbert has kids. I don't know if he has a kid. I think he has kids. I think he might be married. You're a joke, man. I feel sorry for your son. Because this example that he has, this example you're showing your kid, you're not a grown man. You're a straight goof, man. You're a woman who gossips about other grown men and what they did. As if you're on that level. As far as being a fan of basketball, if he wants to call me a fan of basketball and I'm just a fan to him, that's fine. I'm the Michael Jordan fan compared to you, man. Compared to Gilbert Arenas, I'm closer to Michael Jordan fandom than this guy does as a player. Because once again, I'm a fan of basketball. Not just Michael Jordan in the 80s and the 90s. I'm a fan of basketball. So I'm holding the standard, man, and I'm setting the record straight. That ain't bias, man. I don't contradict myself on this channel. Like I said, I don't make up stories about these guys back in the day. I don't lie for them because I don't have to do that. Those guys stand on their own resumes, their own greatness. Today, these guys don't stand on their own resumes. So they have to tear down the past errors to lift these guys up. And Gilbert Arenas is one of the main culprits of this. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.